he had other priorities. You know. So, what was his disposition, his cultural perspective when he came to Molokai, for example, his personal attitude? You may want to look at that too. For example, in a letter he sends to his parents on page 35 of your book, he says, "Here I am, a priest, dear parents. Here I am, a missionary in a corrupt, heretical, idolatrous country. How great my obligations are. How great my apostolic zeal must be. What purity of habits, what rectitude of judgment, what prudence in action I must show." And then he says, "Oh, pray night and day for me, I beg you. For if God withdraws his grace from me for an instant, I would immediately be plunged into the same mud of vice from which I want to rescue others." So he felt an imminent danger of being thrown into this mud of vice. What was this mud of vice? Well, there are some sections of the book that talk about the openness of the Hawaiians towards sexual matters. Well, you have to place, once again, Damien in his proper context. He was a young man who came from an extremely conservative Catholic country in Northern Europe, a cold country, where seeing as much as a woman's ankle was a scandal. And he's thrown in Hawaii with all these naked or almost naked women around him. And of course, he's the star guy. He's the European guy there. Well, of course, he may have felt in danger. No wonder. And then he's sent to the big island where he lived pretty much all by himself, surrounded by the natives for a number of years. Yes?
Was this vice the sexual vice, or was it the leprosy?
The sexual vice, yeah. Sex. There were accusations against Damien that he had contracted leprosy through sexual contact with the native women. He always denied having had sex with anyone. And people who were close to him in the colony also said that he had denied having had sex with women. But there was a controversy. There was this Protestant pastor who insisted that he was an immoral man, that he contracted leprosy. And the official version, so to say, is that he contracted leprosy through either hearing confessions at a very close distance, saliva was spilled over to him, or by sharing, as he did, food from the family calabash, eating with the native Hawaiians, and therefore saliva may have come into his system that way. We don't know, but it's a very touchy subject. It is a very touchy subject. I published an article once on Damien, and all I said was that it is not completely unthinkable that Damien may have had sexual contact with native Hawaiian women. I mean, what is completely unthinkable in this world? Nothing. Given his situation, he's a young man in his mid-20s, coming from such a conservative country where you would never, ever, ever see a woman, I wouldn't say naked, but even half naked or even nothing, just all dressed in black to their feet. And all of a sudden thrown in Hawaii, surrounded by these women that we are told in the book had this open attitude to sexual matters. I said it's not completely unthinkable, and I think it is perfectly understandable from a human viewpoint if that's what happened. I didn't say he did, okay? I'm not saying he did, and I didn't in that article. Well, the issue is so touchy that the following time that I went to Hawaii, and I talked to Father Joseph, to the Catholic chaplain, he was all arms up, asking me, why did I write that? Why did I come with such an idea? He knew about the article already. They had called him all the way from Rome to ask him, what do you tell this guy? What do you tell him? Why is he saying this? You see how touchy it is? Damien was made a saint by the Catholic Church just in October of 2009. And now he is a saint. He's a state hero in Hawaii and also a saint. Let me say that in the audio recording that you have in Moodle, you have much more specific guidance with the book. Okay? So in this videotape and this video recording, I just want to give you the general guidelines, which I just did, and general instructions for your outline for the final project. Yes.
So is it going to be, do we choose between comparison and analyzing his character, or do we have to do both?
You do both, and you can come up with your own techniques other than comparison and analysis, okay? For example, his circumstances, something people always look into, his relationship with his brother, this competition with his brother, Pamphile. Was Damien this forgotten, heroic figure living with the lepers in this unknown place? Well, no, he was not. His brother was touring Europe and lecturing on Damien all over the place. He had become world famous by then. Even the British royal family, they're not Catholic, were patronizing Damien. So, in a sense, Damien was already considered a hero while he was doing that. Now, when you are being called a hero, that puts some pressure on you to be a hero, right? Yeah, we love you because you do this, and everyone loves you because Matt, you're such a great student, and even the president of the university has been talking about you, and she's ready to give you this award. Just keep doing it. And maybe Matt is just like, I don't want to do this anymore, but since everyone is talking about him, and everyone is ready to praise him, I'm not saying Damien did it because of that, but I'm saying that's something that you may also want to consider, if that was an element of pressure on him. Okay? So you can use different techniques. Now, your outline should not be telegraphic. What do I mean by telegraphic? I used to say this in the past, telegraphic, and later I found out the students didn't know what I meant by telegraphic. What does it mean? Well, I guess you guys are too young, you never used telegrams. So, telegraphic means just skeleton, just a little headline. Damien did just a little. No, I want it fleshed out. You give me a little heading and some little explanation. You organize your outline in sections. Now, the only way I do not want you to do your outline is chronologically. So don't tell me about Damien's life. He first did this, then he did that, then he did the other. And do not follow the chapters of the book, okay? So in the first part this, and you have to be more original than that. So personality traits, comparison to other relevant characters, personal circumstances, whatever you want to do or organize, it's free. But you have to be more original than just giving me a chronological or chapter by chapter kind of outline. Yes?
Can we analyze it chronologically, say from his early childhood?
No, I don't want that. No. Because that doesn't give me any work. You just take the book and just go, page by page, making a selection. I want to make it easier on the one side and more difficult at the same time, just by hoping that you understood, the material, you read it, and then you go to this character and the other character, and there are Catholic characters and there are non-Catholic characters as well, okay? The Joseph Dutton, the guy who was living with him at the colony, helping him, he stayed there longer than Damien. Well, there you are. The nuns, you go over all of the characters if you want to use comparison or anything else, but don't give me the chronological thing.
So is the final project just an outline, or is it an outline plus the outline in paper form?
No, the outline.
Oh, it's just the outline.
Yeah. For this particular semester, this may vary in the future. So for those of you watching this tape at other times, this may not apply. I don't know. It may or it may not apply. But for this particular